kotua I kae pau Si o tolo toku o puputu Ko e fua e ku ofa e me hulu Ka feu I e rao salu salu Kala me kotua I kae pau O ile Moe ofa oku afio elilo Eleme miti oe ofani Oku ilo emo akamaiEhaka haku one pasi Ai ofani eme afakama mahi Viera Si ete vale Si ete mana kono ai ete koe Viera ope si ete vale Si ete mana kono ai ete koe Isae ete mana konoa He kakala oe funga fonua Kode ka fokita e ofa Koe turibe au shikaua Oile iaue whakapo Kuokare si o kuroto Te ia e kama ke toto Te moe ofa oku afio e lilo O si ilo e waiki iki Koho sino naku o si whakakapui O tapu keke ewa e te ke toe alea Kia ka sola mai ki e whonua O ile au e whakapo Kuo ka mea si o kuroto Te ia e kawa ke toto Pea moe ofa oku afio e lilo O ile au e whakapo Kuo ka mea si o kuroto Te ia e kawa ke toto Pea moe te fie whanomo, le o e piano pele, violini moto oi mai haate. Kita si ukulele, furuta moe mahi same, kalane tie hula ameriane.
Welcome to our Pacific Islands broadcast, with all the Micronesia, Polynesian, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, Tokelau, and also Marshallese, Guam, Palau, um, all the islands, in the Pacific Ocean. And this is our broadcast on a weekly basis, with the King County. And we're so fortunate that we always have the time with our King County Public Health Communication Specialist, Christina Predick. Welcome again to our PI broadcast. Hello, Christina. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes.
Malia is inside. Hello, Christina. I know that you've done a lot. First of all, I'd like you to share some of the resourceful information about the vaccine, and then we'll go ahead and ask you some question. At 6:35 today, everybody please be ready. We're also going to have Michelle Nippon from the Mental Health Support. She's going to join us and give us some information. But first of all, I'll give the opportunity to Christina Predix, she's the communication specialist from King County, to share us some update information. Thank you, Christina.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. Public Health Seattle King County really appreciates this opportunity, as well as what you do within your community. So thank you so much for helping to get the word out about how to stop the spread of COVID-19 and how to do COVID-19 vaccines. So COVID-19 vaccines are shown to be the best way to stop the spread of COVID-19. The way the virus spreads is it goes from person to person, and the vaccine is a stopping point. It keeps the vaccine from moving to another person, and therefore it stops the spread and protects a lot of people in the community, especially people that are more vulnerable and may not be able to receive the vaccine. If you have questions or have been hesitating, we get more and more evidence that the vaccine works really well at protecting people from COVID-19, and it's safe. As a matter of fact, of all the vaccine cases, of all the COVID-19 cases we've been seeing in the past couple of weeks in King County, 97% of those cases are among people who are not vaccinated. And people who have the vaccine are very well protected. And we soon hope to hit the landmark of having 70% of people fully vaccinated, and that is excellent news in King County. But we really want to be aware that there's still some communities that have lower vaccination rates, and that means they're not as protected. So we really encourage everybody to receive their vaccine. So if people have questions, they can go to kingcounty.gov/COVID, and from there they can find a place to get a vaccine. If you know somebody who maybe has hesitated because they don't want to go to the vaccination clinic, maybe they are homebound, maybe they have mobility issues or trouble walking, or maybe they just have really high anxiety about going into a medical environment or getting the vaccine, there's in-home vaccines available. So people will come to you, they'll provide the vaccine, as well as give vaccines to anybody else in the household. So there are a lot of options. So information again is at kingcounty.gov/COVID. You can also call our call center at 206-477-3977. And people are there from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are full translation services. So if anybody prefers to communicate in their native language rather than English, somebody will be able to translate if you call that number. And from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., somebody will be there to take your call. And you can ask them to help you find an appointment to schedule in-home vaccinations, or you can just ask in general questions about COVID. So if you have concerns, if you have questions about potential side effects, if you just want to know what to expect when you go to the vaccination clinic, you can give them a call and translation will be available and they will be able to help you.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Christina, for giving us the update information, from the King County. And I think I have my first question here. We have some people that are coming a little bit later, but this is one from our community leader asking if we're getting close, is the King County getting close to overcome this pandemic since we have all the vaccines available in King County?
Yes, so this is a great question. There is incredible progress being made, and we've started to see signs of that already with larger gatherings, people who are vaccinated being able to get together with their friends and family. We know the end of the month, Washington will be reopening some things and having increased capacity. So we're definitely getting closer to things being back to normal. The caution is that we're not completely out of the woods yet. And vaccines are an incredible tool and they help a lot. But there's still people who are vulnerable. Children under 12 are not yet eligible for the vaccine. So they can contract COVID-19. There's also people in the community who maybe can't receive the vaccine. For example, if somebody's going through cancer treatment or has an autoimmune disease or another reason. So we want to keep those people protected and also make sure the spread doesn't happen. And also just being really aware that while vaccine rates within King County are about to reach 70% of people who are fully vaccinated. And again, fully vaccinated means 2 weeks after your last shot. There's still groups within King County that have much lower vaccination rates, maybe in the 50, or I know some have a 58%, 55%. And there's a lot of barriers to getting the vaccines for people. Some people question it. Some people may have busy work schedules and not have the time. There might be fear about side effects. So we want to make sure there's progress in all communities. And that'll get us even closer to being back to normal. And one thing that's been in the news a lot lately are variants. And variants tend to be more contagious versions of COVID-19. And people talk about them a lot because this is something that could keep the pandemic going longer. But variants happen when the virus passes from person to person. So the more we can eliminate it passing from person to person, the closer we are to the pandemic being over. So again, I'm going to say it, get your vaccine, ask questions if you have questions about the vaccine. It is safe and effective, and there's many places where you can get it administered. It's also free, and everybody's eligible regardless of your citizenship or immigration status or whether you have insurance.
Thank you. I would like to give this opportunity to Malie. Malie, would you like to hop in and asking a question, that you think that is very relevant, for the Samoan community? And Malie is from the Pikawa, Pacific Islanders of Washington. Malie? While we're waiting for Malie to come in, I'd like to also ask this question here that was already shared with us. Is this continue on, if the pandemic is over, if the vaccine continue to be free in the King County?
Right now, there are no plans to charge for the vaccine. So it's hard to know in the future, but right now the plan is that the vaccine is free for everybody within King County. And in the foreseeable future, that will not change and there will not be a charge for the vaccine.
That is wonderful. Another one that I would like to ask, if someone is not feeling well and they have been vaccinated, already. And the question that came, they said, is it safe for them to go back and have another vaccines even if they already completed, the first one and the second one? Is it safe to do another vaccine?
This is an excellent question, and I think it's a very valid question. I'm going to start because I think what this is based on is breakthrough cases. And what we call a breakthrough case is if somebody is fully vaccinated but still contracts COVID-19. So from what we know, somebody can get sick with COVID-19, but with the vaccine, there are not cases of hospitalization or death the same way you see it in people who are unvaccinated. So the vaccine is an incredible tool, but it is not 100% effective, which we've known all along. We talk about it being about 95% effective. And you should think of it the same way as, for example, we know that if you wear a seatbelt in the car and there's a car accident, your likelihood is much greater that you will survive.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so people with seatbelts do die. On a rare occasion when accidents are very severe, but we know that the seatbelt provides an incredible amount of protection versus people who are in car accidents not wearing a seatbelt. So that's what we're seeing, just keeping in mind that a lot of things we use, for example, taking vitamin C before a cold makes you much less likely to get a cold, but you can still get a cold. So vaccine is a level of protection. Getting a second, yes. So getting a second vaccine, it does not necessarily provide you more protection because the protection is already very, very high. In the 90s is what we're showing. So it's almost as if you were in a car wearing two seatbelts. It necessarily would not provide more protection because one seatbelt does really well holding you in.
Right.
And maybe the little more security of a second seatbelt probably isn't enough if an accident is severe enough to hurt somebody.
Right.
Also, we've been getting this question related to a different issue because people may have heard about the vaccine lottery. So in Washington State, there's a vaccine lottery. So using data from the Department of Health, they are doing a lottery for people who have been vaccinated. And there's different prizes, including cash and items such as Xboxes and airline gift cards. So people are thinking, should I get vaccinated again to be in the drawing? So when you go to get a vaccination, they put in your name and they'll be able to see that you're already vaccinated. So they won't administer another vaccine. But if, I know it's a different topic, but if you are concerned about getting entered into the lottery, everybody who's received a vaccine in Washington state will be entered into that.
Thank you, Christina. Those are very, very loud and clear information that you're sharing, and we do greatly appreciate. I think everybody got the information that what Christina was setting up, like an example. Like if you wear a seatbelt and you got into an accident, that's why you need the first vaccines. It's less damage, to the person that is driving or the passenger because you already have the seatbelt. But even if you already have the seatbelt, and then you have another seatbelt, it's not gonna have any other protection if you have two seatbelts, on yourself, and you got into an accident. That one seatbelt, it's still doing the same thing. If you have like 3 or 4 seatbelts on, so that's just like a good example, And I really thank you, Christina. That was a good example. Christina said, if you already finish your first round and your second round, then you get sick, from the COVID-19, and then he said, I'm going to go and have another vaccine. I think Christina is trying to make it out very clear. It's just like you have a seatbelt, then you put another seatbelt and another seatbelt. Even 3 or 4 seatbelts, it's not going to do anything, like even with the one seatbelt. So that's a very good example. Thank you so much, Christina. Okay, I'll give this opportunity. I have Malia. Malia, would you like to hop in and just ask your question before we have Melissa join us? Malia? Malia, could you please unmute your phone? I think we have to have another seatbelt training, for our Zoom.
Hi, Christina. Christina, I have just a question about the variants.
Yes.
I think so. We're addressing this into our Pacific Island community. I think a lot of them are getting vaccinated, and a lot of them are still doubting the shots. Period. But now with the variants that we are seeing, the rise in that one, so a lot of them are like, what is the variant? So what is the perfect explanation to that, where we could explain that to our community and how to protect themselves and encourage the vaccination?
Yeah, that's a great question. And how I like to think of variants is, what we know is that the virus is new and it wants to survive. So that is why it spreads so much from person to person, and it so easily jumps to another person, because the more the virus spreads, that means it keeps going. When it stops, as if someone's vaccinated, then there's less chance the virus will live and keep going. So what variants are is it's the virus almost becoming smarter. So we know a lot of the variants are more contagious among unvaccinated people. And think of it as COVID is spreading and spreading, and then people stay 3 to 4 feet apart, and that tends to work really well. What the virus might do is it evolves, and every time it passes from person to person, it has a chance to evolve. It may develop a way to pass 5 feet away and 6 feet away. And that's what survives because it's stronger. So, what we see are variants are small adaptations within the virus so that it's easier for the virus to survive. And the way the virus survives is through it spreading. Does that make sense?
Malia?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and it's, yes. So, and we can even have somebody come on to talk to variants, but think of it as the virus changing so it can become smarter and stronger through small adaptations. What we do know is that the vaccine protects against all of the variants we're seeing in the US right now. So people with the vaccine are protected against variants. People who are unvaccinated are more susceptible because these variants are more contagious than the first version of COVID-19 that we saw last March.
Right. That's exactly. Yeah, Malia? Thank you so much, Christina. I really think these are great information, but I'll give this opportunity because at 6:35 we'll be joining with Michelle Pilon from the Mental Health Support. She's going to talk about our upcoming training and how to register and how it's going to be beneficial to everyone. Okay, but before we continue on, I'd like to ask our radio engineer to please, can you play just 30 seconds, the Pacific medley, just to kind of warm us up and then
Si alupe, fiukumi si anemafua. Onesi utaka, otu ula isuba. Tapae uhila, fakalaba aifofua. Kifakaha ele, si ipele omala ekula.
Okay, because our time is limited, I would like to give this opportunity to our beautiful I'm sorry, I have people calling in. I would like to give this opportunity to you, Christina. What is like upcoming announcement that you may like to share with our community? A lot of them, were so much interest in does not have any health related, but they're talking about like the difficulties, hardship during the pandemic. Any more information about the rental eviction protection, and like the also some health advice. The way how we consume our food, especially with the Pacific Islanders, it's have a lot of effect, health-wise, with especially the Tongan and Samoan in the future, or if the King County Public Health have some program to help the people. Like some people get depressed and all they do is just stay home and eat. And they gain a lot of weight, or they end up having high blood pressure and having more diabetic problem. And then also, I think one of the things too is, the information how to help to relieve the lot of families that are having difficulties during this time. Okay, Christina.
Yeah, so King County recognizes that while COVID 19 is something that affects your health, the effects are actually far reaching, especially with the lockdowns, with people not being able to work when they're sick, with maybe places of work being closed. So, just to give a few opportunities before we pass it over to Michelle, is one, currently, King County is enrolling people for the Eviction Protection and Rental Assistance Program. This is for people who currently rent, and if you're behind on your rent, you may be eligible for this program that will pay your past rent and then 3 months going forward. So they'll be able to provide a cushion. So if you're connected with a community organization, they may be working with the program. So ask any organizations you work with. You can also go to rent-help.kingcounty.gov, and as a tenant, you can sign up for the program. Again, that is rent-help.kingcounty.gov. And there's all of the details of the program, and you'll be able to sign up as a tenant. And that's a great benefit to take advantage of and to see if you're eligible. And if you have questions, you can call the CHAP line, which is a King County line that provides assistance beyond COVID-19. And that number is 1-800-756-5437. Again, it's 756-5437. So they can give you information and details about the Eviction Protection Rental Assistance Program. They can also answer other questions about hardships, whether it's helping you to find affordable health care, help with citizenship or immigration issues, and the basic food programs. So nutrition is really hard. And unfortunately, we know that less healthy food tends to be less expensive than healthy food. And there's an extra benefit for anybody who's on WIC, which is a food program for caretakers of children under 5, as well as pregnant mothers. And there will be extra $35 of fresh bucks for people to get fresh produce. So again, if you have any questions, call the CHAP line. You can go to kingcounty.gov/CHAP and find that phone number, or you can email chp@kingcounty.gov. So we'll bring on people with a lot more information about this. But for now, I really encourage people, if you're having hardships and you need resources, go to that website or call the phone number and just ask what they need. There's people there who are willing to help. They want to make things as easy as possible, and that's why they want to help people who live in King County. So please call them if you have any hardships.
Thank you so much, Christina. And before we switch over to Melissa, I know to Michelle, I know that she's on. Do you have any other announcement that you wanted to finish up to make sure that our community heard about it?
Just a reminder that everybody over 12 is eligible for a vaccine, and they're safe, they're effective, and they're the fastest way that we're going to get back to normal. So kingcounty.gov/COVID will give you everything you need to schedule your appointment. And often no appointment is needed. So if you have some free time, you can look up the sites on the King County website, and you can just receive your vaccination right away. The total appointments usually just take 20 minutes.
Thank you so much, beautiful Christina. And thank you so much. That was like Christina Predict from the King County Communication Specialist, and we do appreciate all the great information that you shared on a weekly basis with all our Pacific Islanders community. We will definitely make sure that we will share this information uh, with all and abroad. Okay, well, we'll play this song here and we'll continue on with Michelle Nippon. She's ready to come on. Okay, welcome Michelle. And before we continue on with Michelle Nippon from the mental health support from the King County, I would like to announce to everybody after this, we'll also have Danny Katoa from the Legal Shield. He's going to come on. And then after that, we'll have some news from Salt Lake City. We know that there was something happening in the community by Lupe Prescott. And so we would like to welcome Michelle Nippon. Thank you so much, Michelle, for taking the time to be with us today. And I would like to introduce you to everyone and ask you, as far as we're going to do the mental health support, can you talk about it and how is it, the process and how it's going to start? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me back again, Sylvia. So Mental Health
You're
First
welcome.
Aid is a program that is run by the National Council for Behavioral Health, and it is a national-based program that we are able to offer here in King County through a partnership with the Mental Illness and Drug Dependency Initiative that is providing us with the ability to offer this training free of charge to participants. Mental Health First Aid is a program that helps participants to recognize the signs and symptoms of mental health challenges, and it walks participants through an action plan that they can utilize to help someone who is experiencing a mental health challenge or just a mental health struggle and might be in distress until that crisis or that struggle resolves, or until they can get that person connected up with professional help. So we teach participants a 5-step action plan, and we teach participants how to recognize signs and symptoms of challenges that individuals might be displaying or might be experiencing. We also work to break down a lot of the stigma and misconceptions that exist around mental health. And for the Pacific Islanders community, we are offering a training June 28th and 30th. It is a 2-day training. It runs from 9 to 1 p.m. on both of those days. I believe, Sylvia, that you are the one that people are going through to register for the class.
Right.
So you will need to kind of get in touch with Sylvia and submit that you're interested in the class, because we need the registration for the training by 3:30 on Monday at the absolute latest, because there is 2 hours of pre-work that we are asking participants to do before attending the class. So participants will go through a 2-hour slide and video that they will go through on their own. Once they register for the class, they'll get a link for what we call our learning management system to be able to watch and do the pre-work. That pre-work is required before people show up in class on the 28th. So people have to have attended that 2 hours of pre-work on their own first. And then when you show up on class on the 28th, it's a virtual class. So you'll just be logging into your computer, going to a Zoom meeting, and joining a group of participants and an instructor who will guide you through the course.
I would like to give this opportunity to, is Malia still in? Malia, would you like to ask the question, that it will help to support our Pacific Islanders Community Association of Washington? I know that you have a lot of the senior, like last week, there was a huge number of the Pacific Islanders showing up, for a beautiful program for the senior. And how would that support them, and how would that benefit for others? Malia, could you please unmute yourself and then join us? Malia, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, hi Malia. Malia is from the Pikawa, which is known Pacific Islanders Community Association of Washington.
Hi, Malia.
Hi. Um, I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I got kids
Michelle.
running around,
This is
and
Michelle that she's doing the going to do the training for the mental health support, and she's talking about how it will benefit. And Malia, I know that you may like to find out, because you do run, the senior luncheon, every other Fridays, and this is also a good time to, to help them, support them. But I'll let you ask your question. Malia?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I think we're dealing with mental health, specifically with a lot of our Pacific Island community, and I think um, resources, and how do we support them, especially during this time, because especially they're struggling right now with a lot of financial issues with COVID and their bills, rent. So it has really hit our community. So, what is the best way that we're able to help uh, um, assist them and refer them to places that they feel comfortable in, and to because uh, with Pikawa, our organization, which is starting to try and have other services provided for our Pacific Island community. But mental health is real, and it is affecting people of our community. And we just want to like have a pinpoint of what is the best way to help address that and acknowledge that what they're dealing with, and how we can be able to assist them, especially during these struggle times.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Malia. So really that is kind of the framework for why we offer the mental health first aid trainings, are to provide any individuals who are in community with any other individuals with some basic skills to be able to identify when somebody needs some different assistance, and then to help to provide that person with support. So by listening, by providing reassurance, by providing information, and then by working to get them connected to that appropriate professional help, whatever that looks like for the individual. And one of the things that we do provide at our mental health first aid trainings is that we do email out a packet of resources for all of our participants, so that you have some different places to try to connect people to as we're trying to get people hooked up with that appropriate professional help if somebody needs it. Not everybody needs professional help, but some people do. Some people do need that extra connection. And then for those people who don't need professional help, what are the other things that we can do to help them? Help them build on some of those self-help and support strategies that they already have in place, or just by being a listening ear, by providing reassurance. And so we actually teach a 5-step action plan to our participants who attend that helps them to be able to really do those things and be a better support for individuals within their communities. So anybody who is working with, connected with, in community with anybody else will benefit from this training.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do within your community and to support other people.
Likewise.
Thank you, Malia, for asking those questions that will benefit, the oldest, because every other Friday, the second and the last, the what's other the Fridays that you have the oldest from different cultures in the Pacific Islanders?
So
Malia?
our Reading with Elders our Reading with Elders program is every first and third Fridays, and we're able to gather our elders from all our Pacific Island community, and just sort of like they're all sure to be vaccinated. We encourage them to be vaccinated, but still taking all of the precautions there is. But they really enjoy gathering. You know, they're really it's really depressing to some of them staying away and not be having able to have contact with people. So we just kind of like did our first pilot of a gathering in the past Friday, and it was really uplifting. They didn't want to go home. They enjoyed their fellowship and communicating with a lot of the people within our Pacific Island community.
Yeah, that's so important. That connection with people is so important. And definitely we know that, you know, the rates of distress, the rates of mental health challenges have gone up significantly because of this pandemic, because people have had to be isolated. And so it's been really, really difficult for a lot of communities. I love what you're doing, Malia.
Okay, thank you so much again. I'll let you just talk about, our upcoming training that will be on June 28th and June 30th, correct?
Yes.
Of June. And so I try to compile and organize all the groups, for that time and turn it in on Monday. So, if you could talk about it, what is the step number one, step number two, step number three, that what's needed, for them. So everybody could stay in their own homes. They don't have to come to groups,
Yes. Yes. So the first thing is that they need to register. So they need to get in touch with you to register so that we can get that list over to our coordinator. Once we have that list, everybody will receive an email. So make sure when you are registering that we have an accurate and correct email for you where you're able to actually receive emails at. Because we will then send out an email that will give you a password and it will give you a username. And you'll use that to log into what we call a learning management system, where you will go in and be able to take the pre-work that I'm talking about. So that's 2 hours where you will watch some slides on your computer and some videos just to give you a framework for what the mental health first aid program is, so that you have some basic information going into the class. So that provides you with a framework, a foundation of where this program comes from, what the values are of this program, and a little bit of like overview of the program in general. Then when you come into the class, you will get a link that you'll use to log into a Zoom meeting. And you'll come into the class on June 28th through Zoom virtually from your home on your computer. And you will be joined by an instructor and all the other participants who will be joining us. And then they will lead you through a course that will run from 9 to 1 on the 28th and from 9 to 1 on the 30th. You must be there for both days. We're doing it over 2 days so that there's some time to process between the different segments of the course, because we recognize that being on Zoom for a long period of time virtually can be very exhausting. So we're breaking it down into 2 segments to allow a little bit more time to be able to process the information and process the content. In that course, you will immediately be jumping in and learning how to apply our 5-step ALGAE action plan. So one of the ways that we think about mental health first aid is we think about it similar to physical health first aid. So if you get trained in CPR and first aid, you are trained in an action plan that you use. There's 3 steps. There's ABCs, airway, breathing, compression, that you're taught how to do. And you're taught how to do physical health first aid and CPR to provide support to an individual. So you're taught to recognize the signs and symptoms that an individual needs support, that they need help. And you're taught how to provide that support to an individual until the paramedics get there. And then we let the doctors take over. We let the paramedics take over and handle the scene from there. In mental health first aid, it's the same way. We teach people how to recognize the signs and symptoms that somebody is experiencing distress. We teach people a 5-step action plan to use to provide support to that individual. And we teach people how to get connected with that appropriate professional help so that the professionals can take over at that point in time. So we're not teaching participants how to diagnose or to treat, but just how to provide that support to individuals who might need it. So we walk through how to use our 5-step ALGAE action plan. We call it ALGAE, that's what the steps stand for. Our 5-step action plan in non-crisis situations and then in crisis situations. So when somebody is experiencing really significant crises, we talk about a variety of different crisis situations, and we talk about how we can support someone and how we can get them the help that they need so that everybody stays safe. So that's what you'll be learning when you come to those 2 days of class. You'll be learning how to use that action plan. It's very interactive, so it's not a lecture class, but it's a lot of discussion, it's a lot of conversation. We work with some scenarios, we watch some videos that we break apart and we discuss together. So it's a very involved and very engaged conversation that we're having about mental health. And we like to say that anybody who is a living, breathing human being who connects to other living, breathing human beings could benefit from this training. So this is not something that you have to be a trained professional to benefit from. Anyone will benefit from this training.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I think that I have this person here just text me the question asking, I would like to participate, but I'm not able to speak English and I'm not good, with setting up, like emails and stuff like that. Is it possible that we can get together in a group and then be in the same place, like maybe, like few people, so that will be much easier for us to understand and be able to share, and somebody could translate or interpret?
So it is possible that you can do the pre-work together as a group. We have done that with organizations before where they've gathered to do those 2 hours of foundational pre-work together as a group. You do have to be on your computer to do the instructor-led portion together. You can be in a room with other people, but each person needs to be at their own computer for that section because we're doing it in the Zoom format like this. So everybody needs a little video screen to be able to participate. So each person needs to be on their own computer or their own device. But we have worked with some organizations where they use like a large community center and everybody was in a different room on the computer. And there were other individuals from that organization that were checking in with participants to help with some of the language challenges.
Right. Okay, but they're not able to just have like a one computer and then like, 3 people can sit and watch it at the same time. What
Not
about if they
for,
don't have the computer? That's another thing too. Not
yeah.
everybody could have a computer.
So you can do it from a phone as well. It's
From the
harder to
phone.
participate from the phone, but you can join the Zoom meeting through the phone. But because it is a Zoom meeting, the way that we're able to engage and participate with participants is having it in everybody on their own little kind of Zoom window, right? So we can all see each other and communicate with each other. And so when people are sharing a computer, we're not able to do that communicating as well.
So it's not like you can have your phone and you can join in a Zoom on your phone?
You can, yes. So you can join from your phone. So you don't have to be a computer. You can join from your phone.
Okay.
You may be limited in some of the, like some of your options for chat box or things like that, but you can definitely join it from your phone.
Right.
You would want to let the instructor know. You all will be trained by Bonnie, who is one of our wonderful, wonderful King County instructors. You just want to let her know that there are people joining from the phone if you are, because it'll just be a little bit harder to do some of the chatting, some of the tools. So if we know that, we can kind of help navigate that a little better.
Right. So I think that is now it's very clear that is the most barrier. It's that you have to be on your phone. So everybody could be like in a group, but they have to watch it. You have to help them, assist them with their phone.
Yes. And so we have had other groups that were where there was some language barriers or like that, where they were able to meet with their organization in one location, and the organization helped them out with some of the technology piece and was kind of monitoring and checking in with them, while myself and another instructor were teaching from our homes to the group. But everybody has to be on their own device for it to work. And that's a requirement from our national organization. So that's just the structure of the virtual format.
So I also just wanted to say, I think I pick up some of the information, from what you explained too, that is more beneficial for the leaders, to be trained because they are the one that going to help, others in the community.
Anybody who is working with other people can benefit from this training. So if you
Right.
are somebody who is working with a lot of other people, you have a lot of other people that you're helping, that you're supporting, this is a wonderful, wonderful training to attend and to learn more from.
Right. Okay, I have the community leaders. You just come in, and I know our time is coming up. It's Sina. Hello, Sina. She's the leader from our Tongan Community Senior Association. Sina, do you have anything
Hi.
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening. As we know that we are heading to the end of pandemic, allowable for us to open like June 30th, and we were talking today about opening our senior program, and I'm glad that I was able to listen up on this, because first aid and CPR is very important. How is that different from having a Seattle Fire Department representative will come out to our program and complete the training, like we did before the pandemic? The reason I say this because it's very benefit for our seniors, where a group of senior up to 30th taking the training at the same time with one interpreter, with one instructor, take part in this. And with the seniors, they're very limited on what they understand, very basic. I know it's very important for them to call 911 when, emergency happen. Number two, they know how to give CPR until paramedic arrive. Those basic knowledge, 1, 2, 3, and those three are the very important that I make sure that our seniors, us volunteers, and our seniors understand that part. Because when you try to instruct elders who is over 80 years old, 70, they only listen to one thing, one-on-one. And the main important thing that I want to make sure that they understand how to call 911. That's number one important, and how to keep a person, a loved one, breathe until the paramedic arrive. I think that those are the main important thing to me as a volunteer for seniors, to make sure that they know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you for the
true.
question. So first of all, I want to clarify, this isn't physical first aid, this is mental health first aid. So this is for individuals who might be struggling with a mental health challenge. How do we support someone who's struggling with mental health distress or a mental health challenge or a mental health crisis? So it's not physical health first aid, but it's modeled after that same format as physical health first aid. So that's why I use the metaphor of physical health first aid, helps people to kind of understand where this fits in. But this is for mental health challenges, not for physical health challenges.
Right. And sorry for interrupting. Anything that any emergency situation, it includes mental.
Yeah.
Right.
Mental for our seniors. So I'm that's what my point is. I want to make sure that both are covered, because when those emergencies occur, mental is number one. In order for them to react, it affects them mentally, and then react.
Yeah, so this might be the ideal training for those who work with your seniors, to be able to have those skills to support the seniors that you're working with. Maybe not so much for the seniors that are there, but for those who are working with the seniors, to provide them with, so that you know if your seniors are struggling, how you can support them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of that's the difference. Right
Well,
now with King County, we're only able to offer virtual. We are not able to do in-person right now. So that is why we don't have an in-person option.
Okay.
Eventually we will go back to in-person, but right now we are not opened up to teach in person.
Okay. That's totally, I understand that part now. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for answering.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And we're going to work on it. Saipe sina oku lava peta toe tala no peki ai kako e hako. But thank you
Yeah.
so much, Michelle, for giving out, and clarifying all this information. And we're going to work on it, to get it done, by Monday, and turn it into, our list of groups, for June 28th and June 30th. Eh?
Excellent.
June 28th, what's the date again? I think it's on Thursday. Stella?
You should have a calendar.
I can pull that up. I have a calendar right here in front of me. Let me look.
Oh.
June is Monday and Wednesday.
Oh, so it's a Monday and Wednesday. Wednesday is when Sina and all the Tongan senior community on that day, on Wednesday, but on Monday, yeah. Okay.
And participants must attend both dates. So because we're going to do half of it on one day, half of it on the other day.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Well, I'll let you, if you have anything else that you think it's very important, to share, I'll give you, our last few minutes, to share if you have anything that is relevant, for our upcoming training.
Yeah.
So first of all, you're going to be working with a wonderful instructor. So you will have a very positive experience. She's a very skilled instructor and will be able to guide you through the training course. But really, this is the kind of course that anyone who's working with a lot of people in your community would benefit from. So we keep we're not using complicated language. We keep it at a very, very basic level so that it is accessible to everybody. And it's beneficial within all scopes. So it helps teach people how to help a stranger, how to help a friend, how to help a family member, how to help a client, how to help a coworker. It can be applied universally across the board, which is one of the things I think that's really beautiful about this program, is that it is very accessible within our communities to be able to learn and utilize these skills.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your time. And Sina, do you have anything? Or Malie? If not, we're ready to close up, Sina?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I will work on the technology part, but I
Okay.
believe that if I have more than 3 seniors, I don't think we're gonna have technology for each of the seniors to complete
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will be there. I will be there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much for your time, and we do appreciate, And Michelle Nippon, she is from the mental health support, and we do greatly appreciate your time of sharing all this great information to help improve the lives of others in our community. Thank you.
Thank you,
for allowing me to
Michelle.
be here,
And we
Sylvia.
have this farewell song, Pacific Melodious song, for you.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Sina.
Yoko uli uli lo
Tau kolosi heni ki he otumo unga koula kia Lupe Prescott ka koe polisi malo lofo kia koe tahe ka taki polisi e wafi mafitu tene o mai he tau ngongo pea me ngai me a koia o hoko i he ano koula te koe ano masima me Salt Lake City, Utah. Pea osi koe ia te tau hoko tai pea i kia teni katoa ki ne tala noa ki ngai aunga o ngai mea koe whale i whakalao, mono malu i whakalao koe me ngai whengata. Koe atu le mene tau toso o patau toki hoko atu toso. Io, Lupe? Io.
Kamata.
Io. Ia taimini te tau kolosi le vai ki he ano masima vea moe otu mo unga koula ki he tahine ko ia ko Lupe Prescott kene o mai ha tau ngongo mo ka taki pe i kai ke lava atu i he Zoom ka e lava pe ke lea mai i he leo o mai ha tau ngongo me ngai mea ko ia hoko i he ano masima me Salt Lake City, Utah. Lupe maloi le lei?
Malo el teleita hende Silvia. Malo el Maria ho ek. Mo lele atong ko tope mo fanang maghiwi ay. Ui aten me ano masima ki ongong si ki ho mau fetu ko ni. E ko dai fu ko ni ko taimien o graduate e ka funky tamai ki me ngai apia ko ke takta. Ka ki mo i ta hiwa hiwa ngo futu pun na ma foto wai ai National Tongan American Society ko mau tokoni ke kakaitonga i fetu ko ni kana ai mau por kalama ke osko ai ako ko afangita me ke ni ko mo mau por kalama pe the reef of today is the island of the future
Ko ia.
Pako ya uki he taimini ko ia hi fangita me ki he taimi ko na mau kamatai ona hoko ki nau toko whanua he taimini. Okay, atama opera singer ko ta o pupua o hiwa me New York mo whanua he opera atam sikoni. Nai kamata he taimi ko mauto i he taimi ko ia ko a nau to he taimini ko ha whanua ke whai ke hasio. Paka taimi ko ni ka taimi graduate e whangita mai ki ko ni he hano masima he ni. Whai ai graduate kehe o te siwai. Pa te siwai i he taimi ko whangita me ke he taimi ko na mau kamakamatai ko e nau whanau e ko graduate ko na hona toko whanua ko hoko. I nau tō graduate he taimi. Pea lahi au pito hange pe ko e tau siwa he taimi tau whiwhi whangita me ke he nau osi ako tau ai ngai ka hoa ke i nau tō. Ka ko mana tō ke te mato he taimi ko e I graduate i BYU Hawaii in 1966. Na graduate te hau sista ko lakalaka ka iri. Pea I taimi ko e nau si alwon o tori pua halope o mauki ka hoe ua kene lei koe a koe ka taimini o kulei e taimini o tau atu ai whakalei ai ngai whamiri mo kakai ke ki tamasi ko graduate ko he taimini he koa kulei paang he taimini mo lei ke whai ko he graduate i he wike koe ni ko osina e whai ai graduation ni pe whai ai ngai whakalei mo ngai mea pe ka he fia koe ai whanau nai hopai haki i whakatamaki e anu mahasima o mate haki tamasi ko ni mei mua i he whetu ko roast bark hen he whetu koe nai whai a graduate ia koe ia pēr nai whai a drive-by shooting o nau hanga natoro whana o si mate ai ki tamasi ko ni koe ia o koe mea whakalolo mai o koko i he anu mahasima e te mini pēr au ku nai whana ia pa koe me whakitamaki na kei whare mahaki tai mini o te ki elo pe ko ha me hoka na to pa mhala pe te na to si ya ke mai pe ka ko me ya ho ni e lai a si fia mo me a ko ya depend pe he mal hi hot classmate me ngai ta mai ko te fe a pe mo na to na ha wa e ka drive by shooting o na fana ya ki ta masi ko ni o matya ya na masima ka nga pe ki ngonga me te ma to me ya na masima me he ni ka koe o whaate te moto ko tope, ko au lupe malo he fo Prescott, ka mouta toka. Malo.
Malo au pito tahine lupe malo he fo Prescott ai ma o ngongo pe a ko mea pango ia koe taua o mai ke whaha i ta o wha o siako koe ni koe tai mino i fia i ngahi au sia ai whanau tau tupu pe a moki nau tau nau osi me ngahi ako Lautau CE High School pe mo ngahi University ka o ko tau o ngona ai ngongo whamamahi koe ni koe ngā koe ki Talavautonga na e whanai koe ngā koe drive-by shooting pe koe whauri au pe o whanai pe a more ai mo ui ai ki Talavau koe ni a lupe teu ki eka pe ke pena na tau whiha ki i Talavau koe na e toki mole ne mo ui
O ui he tau koe ngau graduate ki tau tahavalu
tau hongo whuma walu Iyo, koe ni koe maroloen e ki Talavau koe ni, i hono ta hongo fulma walu, i hono whanai, ai a koe nau pāti pe i he fia, koe ngā koe whakaosiako, na e whakahoko pe a mea pango ia koe tau whanonke ngai ngong whamahi koe ni, ka aku whai pe lotu pe a moe kawhata moe whamiri koe ni, ko whamiri koe ni mei mua, pe a o ku whatawange pe e whakatoka maari e me ano kotoa, koe koe whamiri koe nipa me i tataka mo tonga tapu i tonga. Pea ofange pe ke kawa e ki o atanonga ma whi maari ke si whamiri koe ni tō tono ai whaingata a koe ni. Pea koe ai te u tā e pene tau ki whas koe ni. Pea tau hokat lewa kau kai. Ofalai et ka koe tahine lupe o nau ngāwe whoki e rete o koe au koe tala koula. He whiaf sa pate ko tape i tain whiha koe lupe a motolu.
Hongo fulu.
Hongo fulu po uri ki he taha watu a po ai koe hongo fulu. Koe hiva ia i he Pacific Time. Pea koe hongo fulu koe tau pepe koe taha ia i he East Coast. Hongo fulu ia i he Mountain Time au koe taime a Salt Lake City. Pea koe hiva ia i he Pacific Time koe nuka California mo Seattle. Washington. Mo kau whataha i he talakoula te mau share atu. Ai polokala te o isa pate kotoa pe. Malo au pita lupe o whaat ka ki motol. Malo.
Malo.
Koe ni ko lavalele eni pa e tā e te tau whai whasko ni mo tau tātare ke tau huat lewe tau kauwhatahe ni pea mo teni katoa pea me he likosio me Honolulu, Hawaii. leva te ma'oha ka volunteer tomorrow at Pikawa at 336 and 9th Avenue South in Federal Way. About te ma'oha mo puha te mo lava pe te tutake ke tiri wa ke mo ngahi api. Pea ko ia toi osi peni tau ka whata mo tēni katoa pe me Honolulu, Hawaii. Pea whakawhi a te pe whoki mo tolu he ni. E Michael Haloti Puloka ki e Liko Shio. Ai ko Liko Shio ko no uhinga o malu I pe koi hange hau in siwa. Ki panga pe wa nima ka toko ni au pito ni. Taimi pe o ko ke ongo I ke whaingata ia. Pe kai ke ilo pe ko haha mea e lava toko ni ke te koi. Ko e whetu taki hanga tona pe koi ki telefoni ko ia a Michael Haloti Puloka. Ki wano auno ni manoa wha hiwa fitu ni mataha. Wano auno ni manoa wha hiwa fitu ni mataha. Anytime you want to worry less and live more, you can have all the total access, total freedom, legal help. Legal help, you can call 206-504-9751. You can see that on the screen, 206-504-9751 at any time. Also, the Bombay Fiji Bazaar, they open 7 days a week. That's right on Military Road, 24700 36th Avenue South in Kent, Washington. The phone number, if you want to call at any time and ask them if they have the May, the breadfruit, all the kiki, like lamb, fresh fish from the ocean, Blue Lagoon from Fiji, and also the fresh breadfruit, any islanders food, and also your beautiful flowers like the one I have right now, my beautiful flower. You can get all of them from the Fiji market. It's called Bombay Fiji Bazaar, right on Military Road. Bombay Fiji Bazaar. You can see it right now. The Bombay Fiji Bazaar, they open 7 days a week. Their phone number, it's 206. I'm sorry. The phone number for the Fiji market is 253-839-0252. 253-839-0252. Ua ni mataolu wal tolu hiwa noa ni maua. Whia mao lewa hao whakatau me iai ka kato kotoa ngai teunga whakatau ngā mo ngai matala kau lau lota ha. Kai pehe whoke ngai lolo alaha. Pea pehe whoki kotoe amuatu whoki hao hao tonu. Ki ngai whoi ice cream koi au hao ngā tonu New Zealand ice cream. Koi CP, koi ika, koi kosi. Moi ngai kakano I manu kehepe. O ma'u katoa ia I whalewhisi, la I lō, la I pele. Katoa pe ho whakaamu, e ma'u katoa ia I he Bombay Fiji Bazaar. Taki, e taki. Kareke homa tēni. Ia mo ka taki pe ki hangea ki motu kia wha teknikale ka e osi pe ni ko mau hoko atu e. Tēni katoa ka mo ka taki pe ko e si whenga I pe ke lava ko e ki I hangea ko lau ke ki I palpare ma wha teknikale pe ki ngai minitsi I pe ka osi pe ni tau hoko atu. Tau ka whataha pa mo tēni katoa.
The only way that it will work is if you exit out and think. Hold on.
I X out?
Hold on. Let me
I can X out.
Oh no, if we X out, but let me look and check.
Oh, and start again?
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
hold on. Let me check.
malo ta for hiva.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Ko fa malo atu malo pito te ni katak pe wangi kia e mau ki longa fa teknikare ka ko nga ko taimi mau inga. Aya ko te ni ka to afo ki ko to ta hai ni ko ta ulahi e ne nga ue ko ia I ta fa aki ko ele ko sio. Te ni katak mo te fa ho ko mai ke te fa manat me ke ka fa nongo te ko e what is your job with the legal shield?
Network Vice President Yaugi State Goni Hawaii. And I'm a legal shield associate as well. Rep. But thank you, Sylvia, for having me on the show. It's an honor always and a privilege.
Yo, tenik malo o pito ai kau mai, katak mo o famatala I mai koi hai, you know, what will, you know, the purpose of having the legal shield, and how can it be benefit from? Koi hai e kau lele ia ke te kau e legal shield.
Malo pito, I'll answer the first question. The purpose go legal shield can lava or provide access ke lava I kakai ko toa pe tai flimanako me tunga faga economy scale wise from any level, whether you have money, you have no money, or things of that nature. I think they label it in the American culture, whether you are middle class, upper class, or lower class. The Legal Shield membership is available for all classes. And the most amazing thing about it is we have millionaires that have access to our service. And then we also have, you know, the hardworking people of America. They also have access to the same service. And so the purpose point of view, that is our mission and our vision, is to provide that access for every human race, no matter what culture and background you may have. From a perspective of you know, how to utilize the service, the benefits of the service, you know, it's one thing to have the Bill of Rights, right? Like that's a part of the Declaration here in America is the Bill of Rights. And it's one thing to have the Bill of Rights, but it's another thing to have access to the Bill of Rights. And that's service provide. Hegune lava o atu ki to taha ko pe ke access I right at the tonu hia. And most times, or Polynesian in general, but most people, you know, from even to Black Americans, to white Americans, to even Hispanic Americans, they're priced out of the legal system. And so, the thing will they alago gataha talange, hey, oguge kagi haloya ge siake for me angoina. And the first thing I know our people would say, "Oh, kumamafa bautai ilo wege ilo hatage tagi ai," So those are what would happen, and so that's what we're trying to eliminate from people's conscious and way of life. It's a lifestyle, right? That they can actually tap an app on their phone and be able to call an AV rated law firm, meaning that this is the best of the best in their particular state, to be able to have access to it. Koe whahinga mea lahi taha o tā mai ka kaiki ai he taimini. Koe 80% of people's calling for legal representation is to consult with an expert about whatever matters it may be. They don't really have a legal situation per se, but they just want to know what their rights are. And most people don't know their rights. And that's the most unfortunate thing, is that we live in the land of the free, yet we don't know how to access that freedom that we so-called per se live by. And so that is what I believe with conviction that Legal Shield gives us as the hardworking people of America to have access to be able to utilize on our everyday living. You don't have to be a criminal to call an attorney in that way. And so hopefully I covered all those areas on your question, but the benefits go beyond. We have certain coverages that cater towards certain things. Like, for instance, the consultation unlimited gives you and your family the ability to tā mau beki a law firm o eke whihui. Pe koe, hey, koe kantraki kono mau sai ni o sai. Ke mau mo ui long term or pe ku go. He koe lawyer na ne hanga draw up a contract go ya. It wasn't your attorney, it was the other person's attorney. They gave you the contract to sign. And so little things like that we may not know, or I'm mahoinga what we're signing. We may be signing our life away, our house away, our bank account away, our children away. We don't know. So it's good to be in the know. So little stuff like that. Those are everyday situations. Those are not, you're not being a criminal, right? Like, so and so most people's response is, and so from there, and I service, and then also ongoing education. Every day we teach people how to use the service, how to maximize the service. We also have what we call a membership perks, where people save money on top of what they're currently spending. So their membership end up paying for itself in that way. So hopefully I stall long enough, Sylvia, so that you can hear me okay.
Thank you, Danny. I heard you talking about all the things that how it's going to benefit our tau kakai. Ako whamalo te ngai whamatala au ngā koe ni. Danny, koe hānai ha o tau pehepe I he ngai mahina koe ni tau toksito a mea. Those past few months, nei ai nai ha taha ko benefit pe koe ai ha o testimonial ke share mai ke ngai ngā uele lei koe na e whai e he liko shio o toko ni I ai ki nau tō. Nau ilo pena I ai toko taha na e whenga e ke kumi e ne ki I pepa na e hau ake whonuani. Pea na e whenga tā ia pea na e I lewa sign up pea na e whetūtaki pe ke kau tahalo e apa nau toko ni lewa ki a te ia. Pea fia au pito ai toko tahani. Ko ia ai ko kore atu ke iai nā hao vahe ke mahu inga ko inga ke whanonga e kakai ki a ngai mea na e toko ni kai ai kau tahani. Tau te whito ki ho tau kakai, tau kainga tonga. Lahi a pito nau whanki ngā ue pia nau tō, hange koe iate, hange koe liwi ini. Pea mo ha pe na funky I business o whakalele. Ko ia pe.
Iyo. Lahi malo bito. O lahi o bito u example, bego u stories, o si hoko o gu lava o tokoni ke kakai. Toto te fito ke tau kakai tonga. I he foi taimini ko na hoko I koe COVID, he, 19. Lahi ai kakai na maulava tokoni ki na tolu I hange I he lava ai loia o tokoni ki na tolu ki hono whakamatala mo talanga ki na tolu ai na tonu gogo ai na tolu pa mo tonu go ai ona. And so lava leva mau e whainga marie ai kakai koni na mau tokoni go ka na tolu ke na nofo I he api kai tuli na tolu ki tua. Koe mooni ia koe policy ai ona. Pea lava hai talanga leva he attorney o kusai in the policy ana, but that is not the law. The law says in this time you cannot evict anybody from their home, you know. So fia au pita ki family ko ni not only the mahinoi what their rights are, but what took place for them, that they weren't able to be evicted in a time where it was hard for everyone. Okay, so whainga mea pehe koe ki family na alo whaina whakatau nau ka, pea koe aia te koe ke review e kontreki, hange he masi ia o hamuse kontreki, me ni ma o cross out e foi price mea he koe talangi he ma he whine iki. Oh, I want to review the contract first before we sign I want to send it into my attorney. Me talano papalangi beni ke manager go I dealership. I want to send it to my attorney. Can they review a contract pa to sign it up? Pea pehe mai leva masi pass me the contract. And they told the contract or slash it for a price go na already given to our client by $5,000, right? And then the behela have in the key, man, kaba wo to oi ni mafe, ko ha to me au to go directly with the tailo. So they send the contract into the law firm, and they were able to retrieve another $3,200 from the contract. From the original pricing na ihe kontreki pe whakamatala ngeleva he loya ki whine eiki ko uhinga na charge atuai ko mea gui ko dealer prep o ki he kontreki pe ka ko dealer prep ko mea ia o ku ai mau pe he tila ko toa pe ko na charge atu na tolu ki a kita o te whakatau go mea lere go dealer prep go na fufulu go ka pagetogi alu boya ke mo api. That is what they call a dealer prep. But the dealer prep means is when they park the lot and they care for the car as long as it's been there, it's actually financed into the principal of the car, the pricing of the car. So they were able to save over $8,200 altogether simply because they got the contract review by an attorney. So if you ever bought a used car or a new car and you got a car wash, you probably paid a little extra because your dealer prep is a car wash for you. Is the way they hide the dealer prep in the contract is through a car wash. And so yeah, so little things like that we're not aware of. So if you can save money here, save money there, that it can go long term. So that client called me and they were so happy that you know, they'll never be without their Legal Shield membership. They save over $8,200 and they will pay for their membership for a lifetime. So, and this is off a $24.95 policy. we also have plans too, Sylvia, that tokoni ke kakaigo o kuyate wa na business now we may api. We have what we call business plans or cater here specifically ke kakaigo wa na business. Now we may api about now we're outside of the house. We have plans for that too, depending on how many employees you have or if you're self-employed. The Malava bill tailored a plan to fit your budget and works well for you. And so it's not a lot, but it's such an incredible peace of mind to have, especially about the aloyate, yakaige totonge nga we, taimini o wailoi ai o na, taimini o na ilo na tole lao, taimini o na whenga peke kaka ikita. But just having an attorney to be able to call or write a letter on your behalf. We had a client that we just recently helped with one letter from the law firm, was able to get his $72,000 of remaining in his balance for doing the job paid out to him. And that's 72, yes, not 7,200, 72K, right? That's a lot of money. So, but having the attorney intervene would have never probably happened. But because he had access, he had his business covered. The attorney was able to reach out with one phone call and handle the situation. So, with that being said, sign up ke service. Sign up for the service. It's like they sign up before you get into car accident. Medical insurance. You got to be beforehand so you can have access. Life insurance. I know it's a little bit late. About the life insurance. But obviously I'm prejudiced when I say this. But something bad happens, right? Like nothing bad has to happen. You could be purchasing a home, a new car. I mean, good things could be happening. You could, get a cell phone contracts, like you just don't know what you're signing. But having access to experts, to legal counsel, they have access in the spiritual realm, have access to Faifekao, to people that are prophets that can pray over you, right? That's the same concept here, is to give you wisdom, direction, confirmation. Que tokoni mai ke tau nofo whakawhamiri, mo tau nofo whakangawe whakabusiness. Go yape.
Stanley, I really appreciate, those great information. Hange ko ngai whamatalawa ne toku atu ko e tēni. Au fu mato aki maho inga au pito e ni ko inga he toko nene hange ko ngahi business ki hange ko kau ia te, hange ko kau rivi ini. Pe ko happy aki ngā ue whai, pe au tatawa i pe wea hao business ka ko o fie maaria mo ke nonga. Ko sange pe hao insiwa hao mea lere pe ka whakauri hola pe. Pe ka tui i ko hataha pe ko tau hataha o siai pe malui. Pe kai ke ngatai. Pe ka pau i kai ka ko te atu ko he polisi ko ho ofu otu tiki te. Ko tau tea i koe. Aia aku pehe pe. Ka hoko me koe whai ngata a pa mo ngahi palopare ma. O ku o siai pe ai malui. Ko mea ia wha mawhait ko e tēni hange ko mo tolu ko mo whanonga mai. O ko lava peke mo whetu taki hake ki a tēni katoa. Walu noa walu, whitu walu noa tau taha ua. Pe ko haloti puloka i he Emo City, aia i Seattle, Washington, ko e wanoa ono. Ni manoa whahi wa whitu ni mataha ko na ko stuku ate nā ngotifika telefoni i he ata mo la. Pe a koi ai, o ko te kore anga peni ki a tēni. Tēni ko e taimi koe ni o ku te ngāwe aki ai liko shio. Ko e hānai a hono fuo loa koe pe a kawa i kita ke hoko kita malui o kai pe kautaha loea hoko mai ko e whaingata te telefoni ki ai. Pea o kai ki ngatai o ko ngā oe aki pea ko sio kono totonu kono lelei pea mo e tapu aki o tau mau I he ai haka tahaloia ki ne whai aho tau malui. A o ke ngahi nau whai e te tohi pe koe ha pea mea whea mau hango e lau koe tuku ato to mawhasiaka ki nau tolu. A tēni koe hana hano fuoloa ka pau e sainga taki ai. Pe koe hano wha ngata ko hei ka kai koe te nau lava qualified ki he liko sio. Malo.
Io, malo bito Sylvia. Oku kava pe right away, I service Ogwaya mau service that you have to wait 90 days. Pea toki lava o access yato u service go ya. Kago majority, about almost 99.9% of the service are you cover right away as you signed up, right? Kago the encouragement ya mo feng tau fenga ki ai ki tau kakai ki tau use that use this as a way of life, right? Like it's as a concept because it's a very disruptive innovation. Telephony is one of the most important things we have. Like our wallet and our phones are always with us. With the ladies, it's their purse and their phone is always with us. So the app, there's an app on our phone that you're able to press right away. Like you can download and set up when the person enroll you, the key service, then I'll set you up here, your telephony. Ko te kei be go for app alu ta lava leva ta be app ki he law firm I area go go no for ya I ka pau ke I Seattle about ke Hawaii. Hawaii I dedicated law firm every state ke na tokoni atu ki a koe mo fie ma'u. So I say that to say this, Sylvia, is go taone tahavalu ngā ue e company. Ko lahi ku sio ke tau kakai. Because they don't mahinoi I service and it's not their fault, it's just lifestyle, right? It's the way of life and culture. So o toki hoko koe me apa tau toki whinga rewa ke sign up. So what happens most times is when they sign up osi go to hoko ha mea go ka go pa to sign up he kai rewa ke kava go ia 100% I service, right? So if you had the service before the thing happened to you, you're 100% covered. But kabau e hoko e whaingata a pe ko hamea ki a koe pa ke toki whakatawa service. This is where I feel like many of our people misunderstood our service, is because now they fall under the title of preferred member discount. Most of the things that they want to happen will fall under a preferred member discount. Now, I will share with everyone that our preferred member discount is better than any paying full rate in any price out there. Encouragement is to have it beforehand.
Interrupt. Ko ki ko fe ma upe ke nga ko I whamatala ko ni mata ak mau inga. O ko kai ki hange ko ni tau pehe ko toki ko hange ko ni ko toki ai ko te pehe te alo exitene pa toka a te insiwa me alere he. He kai ki ne kava e te exitene he ko inga na kai ki aha te insiwa. Ai o pehe pe me ko ne whamatala ma ko te ni. Ko inga ka hoko ha palo pane mai pa ke toki ai ke totongi. Ke hoko kwa me mipa I he kautaha ko liko sio. It's not gonna cover te ko inga ia ko hoko palapare ma apa ke toki alu ko o me kakapau na ke ai ko hange pe ke ai o mateu o se ai o insi waki mua pea osi ko ia hoko mai ko whainga ta ko ke osi nonga pe mo fie mari ko ia teni he
Iyo mo ni lahe o pito ia Sylvia. You said it better than I did.
Te ai e te insiwa ko ni ai ko insiwa ko ni ko te kautaha loia o te totong whamahina ko ilo pe ko tolai wa nima o ko totong tolai wa wha sende hiva mahina ko toa pe o ko totong. Ki tolai wa wha ko ia ka ko nonga ko hoko mai pe ngai palapare ma tak tuko ia tu pe ta e pe ka nau tolu nau tala mai pa nau tari pe telefoni e he te telefoni at pe ta ke mo nau o si pick up pe telefoni. Anytime you have any burdens, any accusation, any wrong accusation or anything to know that they claim you or they blame you for that, you just pick up the phone. O ka mea kuia ko worry free. Tuku ate mafasia let ko inga li ko shio ko kautaha loea ia ke nau whai nau tolu hono ngā we I ho keisi. Ka o te ke toi nofo si whaka ofa pa ke toki lele taka I holo. Pea ke nofo ai pe o hokai pe moi more ho toto nu au. Ko ia?
Moni lahi au pito, ka foi poini ko fia tokoni at ke wha matalai at ke mahino.
Ko ia?
Silvia, heksai au pito o foi lea koe nā. Koe taime ni, koe sio a kakai ke tola wanima pa nau pehe, ko hae whainga loia koe ni tola pe wanima. He ku, koe mea koe ke tau tui ai ki he legal system, he price out to that tolu. Ne algo e kakai koe ke hae ha loia. Me koe loia taime ni, now ask you, o nau talate na tolu ke mai for 10,000, 5,000 up front, retainer fee. Pea osi ko ia, pea nau toki ngā au elewa nau tolu ia, they don't have, you don't have control of that 5,000 or 10,000 that you gave them. So the next time you see the attorneys, they may bill you again before they, and they could even price it on anything. Ko mea ko different na go mau service is because it's through a buying power of a group. It's not your $25. Ko kai beko siri ni tola beko e wanima. Go 4.8 million people's $25, right? So you do the math real quick. This law firm, I lawyer goini, oku totongia matolu, $1 million a month for our client to have access to. So when you call in, they don't look at you as a $25 person. You are $1 million client a month, right? So you're just like a Bill Gates. You're just like a Michael Jordan to them, because that's what they would charge those folks on a monthly basis to cover their cases outside of Legal Shield. So that's how we're able to profoundly have the ability to have access to the best AV-rated law firm all across the country and into Canada, because through a buying power of a group. I know for a fact that the law firm in California is up to $2 million a month. So you think about that, right? That's $2 million a month. So when you call in as a $25 member, they don't look at you as a $25 member. They look at you as a $2 million a month. So watch this. We already solved the money situation out of the way. Their joy is to solve your problem from a $2 million perspective, because they want to keep us as a client, because they want that $2 million a month to come in. Now, if you are independent attorney outside of our firm, not only there's no accountability, but they will continue to charge you and milk you for every penny. And there, as I alluded to earlier, there's no accountable whatsoever. Like, they can charge you however they want. And then after that, you're just left with a heartache and a headache in the process, because your problem hasn't been solved yet. So I just wanted to piggyback on that, Sylvia. That was such a great point. Malo. You're muted, Sylvia.
Malo o pita tēni ai whamatala anga koe ni. Ka taki pe o te tuku mai koe high level hawhaonga. Koe kakai koe aku nau fie kau mai. Hange ka pau koha me mi pa ka tahu ka hane ki businessi koe high level mea te nau whai. I koe ngā ke lava ke nau ngawe au ngā aki. Pea toko ni eni ki a koe I he wawe. Pea toko ni eni ki he tahko tā pe. Koe hālewa mea e whai e ki nau tolu koe iau nau wha am ke nau hoko ko a kau me mipa I he kau taha kone a liko sio.
Io mo contact mai pe o sai pe ka pate ke aloha tonu ke company o sign up mo na tolu toko dia ke company ko le atu ke mo toko ni mai toko ni ai business ya atau tolu ko ni ka kai tonga ogu associates i legal shield ke mo lift them up, you know. I know that Sylvia put out Harloti's name. Reach out to Loti to help you guys get access. But I you know, I also think goyanga benil gi loto vai vai be aku ia gu whakaukau. It's time for us as Polynesians, as Tongans, to support one another. You know, you look at
Yes,
the Jew,
absolutely.
you look at
Yeah.
the Asians, the Chinese, the Japanese.
Pito.
They keep their money. They keep their money in their people, in their culture.
Yes.
You know, and for some reason we haven't been able to do that as people, and I think it's time to change that culture into a prosperous and fruitful culture
Yeah.
of lifting one another up, you know. So that's my encouragement. Kabagu ke fia sign up ke service find ha taha tonga o associate, and especially Sylvia and Loti, and give them the business, you know, support their business, and we'll stick by you and support you. And whenever, you know, you have a business or a challenge that we can support you in.
Malo o pito teni ko whamalo atu. Hange ko mea kone ne whamamafa I mai. E ke pe ho al ke pālangi mo al ke India pe ke alat ki saina. Ka ko hau ke tonga ne mahi no I e ia o tau unga nga whakatonga. Pa ke hau ia ko pe ko nau ala whakringi sima pe aku itai kau me aia itai api au ta manito ke nau totongi mai nau toria na I kovi ngā wei aku. Ka patu ke whamatala te ko alu ka pau ko hataha ko e neongo ko liko sio ka ko pālangi mo mea. Te naona to whai ko kita ko e tonga te mahi no I pe ai si I whia ma umo tono no ka e tonga. Te whenga lewa ako to lelei taha ke te lava o toko ni I ke si totongi e ne ngā ue na e whakahoko. Pea ako o sisia pau whanongo lahi I he ngai mea ako hoko. Aia ko e mea alu ki hataha tonga. Hange ko tau pe ko haloti. Mai ko halot puloka. Ko e toko tā leleia o kune lava toko ni I pe o kune fuu. Toko ni lahi au pito I hono whakamatala I ke mahi nau. Kai ki toi aha fu mea. Mahalak mini te pe ni mahono sign you up. Kono ailewa koi ke o ngā ke lava ngā ue ak ngai whakamari. Ki pāngai wa ni ma kohi mahina. O ku whakatātā pe, te ke alu whakatā mai ka o posikare, te poko whakatā mai ka o whoi pia. Pe ko alo riri mai tau a. Kai hala lewa hono malu I koe. Ka pau o ki aha me o ke alat koe pa ma o koe polisi pana ke ilo koe na ea peto. Kai ke pe ko ke hala pe ke tono. Koe me a kou whawhiawhia. Koe iai ha kau taha loea ke nau malu I koe. Hauai wa wha a hoi fito e aho. Pea tā I pe ka nau tolu. Tuku ato mawhasia pe o at ka nau tolu. Koe nau ngā ue ia na e whai. He na nau wako ke ngai tawake ke he o lao. Ke nau lava o toko nii. Ai ka kai o nau whie ma o toko nii. Whamaloa teni ho kau mai. Pea koutu pe te tau te polokalama pe I he wiki ka u. Thank you so much teni katoa. Ko e taha ia e kau whafafonga ma lunga ko ia I he kau taha ko ia e liko sio. Tau ene ngo fulma walu. Pea pe whaki ki a Michael Haloti Puloka. Pea koutu pe teni ka pau te ai pea mea ke whaos mea ka ko whamalo atu I he ngai whamatala aunga koe ni. Thank you. So whenever you need some help, you can always call Michael Haloti Puloka 206-504-9751, or you can call Danny at 808-780-3142. Hange koe lau koe ai motua. It's not what you know, but who you know. Ke he peha o alu ke he moto a mori, mo o alo talanoa ho mawhasia mo o mamahi ke tonga, ke ne toko ni I koe whakatatau ki ho o whie mau. Ko ia teni?
Yo, malo pito, Sylvia, keep up the great work. Appreciate you having on the show, and I look forward to the next one.
Okay. From Voice of South Pacific, thank you so much for joining us. Whamalo atu he ni teni katoa, malo a pito e kau mai pe ako ilo pe o ku aonga foki. Na iai foki pa mo ngongo ka pa na mo missed out te o ngongo ni. Te motok alpo to ta polo kalama na whahoko mai e Lupe Prescott. Ha ngongo pe me Salt Lake City ko ki talavou na e ose whakaosi ako. Pe nai whai pe nau pāti, tau ngo fulu māwalu. Pe drive-thru mai pe ai tō taha whanai e ki tamsi ko ni o mate. Pe au gai lewa mo e ni ihi pe i e tonga. Na e oku nau i whare maha ki oku nau tupe te unga whatu tama ka whatawange pe. E whainga maalia me ano kotoa. Koi ki tamsi tonga koe ni. Koi ki tamsi en mei mua. Pea oku si ongo whamamahi foki. Koe tai amanekina e nau kau whataha koe whiawhia i ngai au sia whakako. So, o kei whai whakatotolo kai kau polisi koe ngā koe drive-thru shooting koe ni. Pea mole ai whanai o e mo ui koe ai ki talabou tonga koe ni. Aia koe ki talabou koe ni o kai ne whepikitaki. Pea mo tōtaha koe tonga o whaki tonga. Ka taha utakoloa koe ki tonga. Ko ia pana i aere mo i ngai whamatala na e tuku mai pa mihe taki specialist ko ia ko Christina Predic mo ngahi hoko atu ko ia ai ngahi tutuuni ko ia me King County ka pehe whoke nau ngai polo kalama tokoni ka pau o whe ma o hao totongi ki horeni lava lere ke nau tokoni i koe ia whenga taimi pe ke nau hanga kawa ho rent ke oa te ke toi mawhasia paka pau na te kai ki totongi e mahina hiva ko hiri te nau kawa kotoa peia. Ko alu pe koe nau ase pehe la, koe rent-health.kingcounty.gov. Koe nau ho ostuku ia te pe, te akapawe ke lava, pe ngā peke ke e kore ki tamai ki ko o whanau, po whamopuna, ke nau hanga o ai ke lava o apply ke whaingon fua au pito. Koe ke mau tolo ke mau kawa te, koe wabe taha pe ho alonga tonu kei. Rent-health, kingcounty.gov. Ko i toko ni ko niu nau tuku atu ia ki hataha pe Norfolk County. King County. Aia mo ngawe aki ngai whangamari ko ni pe aku tapui ke owa na aturi ko owa to tongi ho reni. Ngawe aki ngai whangamari ko ni ko taimi eni. Pea ko i aku tawa umai eni ki he pa osinga tau polo kalama ko pe mi te taha pe aho ko i walu. Ko i osia e tau polo kalama whamakolaria ka pongpongi. Polo kalama ia ai whasau ngā Samoa pa pihe whoki ki polo kalama ko ia ai kolisi ia ko tutuku ko ia toloa mo Casanova Lutui. Kau kai whamanata tu heni o kai nā whaafe heni ke whalaite ko ine wikeni. Aho taha sune, whalaite wikeni. Te wakia i nā whahoko whenga paanga o whahoko ia i Aksiasi ko ia i Highland Park. Aksiasi Methodist ko ia kai whikawa Mausia Folau. Whakahoko ai whenga paanga i ka wako tutuko kolisko tupo ki te wake nau kātoanga i he wā whewha o whahoko mai ki Setaloni. Pea ko ia i koe whakawhe tēni ka me pares tēni ko ia e ka wako tutuku Casanova Lutui. Whakawhe ki mōtolu ko ia ka wako tutuku kolisko tupo e tau kātoa hake koe hāpe hao ki mea ofa koe kau whataha koe me ia o mahu inga. Pea koe whakawhe te pe moni te wika hau ngahi au sia whakaako o kai me kautoe tā te nau kau mai ia pehe whoki ki ngahi au sia lalahi i he moni te koe wika hau vai ni hu whalupe. Tusi te koe helping hands ia ka mo lātu hoa kau pule lulu koe tau pulkalama ia me kautere tā ko ia kautere tā tonga ki he King County Public Health ia me ngai whanongonongo ki ngai pulkalama e tokoni ki he tonga kotoa pe. Koe ni ko tau au mai osim ne te taha me walu, whamalo atu ka ki mōtoko ta pe, tau kau whataha. Mo whamare more pe ka pana ato nono, whahako whatonia, o whai pe ale rei taha. Ko ia te uta tau atu hei, whimutok whahau a koa Silivia, taime aho, pea mo e ensinia o lepio, Sela, tupo fuspala te rilo. Malo pito mo mea mai, goodbye everyone. Have an awesome day and stay safe.